All right, let's talk about it.
While building the last dining table I'll ever own, I made critical mistakes,
I've decided that I think I need a new tabletop.
costing me over $1,000, and at one point had no other option but to cut it in half in order to salvage it.
I don't know what happened.
A dining table is the heart of every home, and I had wanted to create one for years with the goal of handing it down to future generations.
Look at that.
But couldn't decide on a design until I realized I'd been looking at it all along. Designing furniture can be a fun and rewarding creative outlet, but it's also incredibly challenging. You're trying to balance aesthetics, functionality, and structural integrity. For me, the dream has always been to build a beautiful dining table where my family could gather for decades to come. I started sketching out ideas, but I was stuck. Nothing felt right. I was constantly tweaking dimensions and struggling to land on a final design. Then I had a moment of clarity. I looked at the coffee table that I had built a few years back, a design that I absolutely loved, and realized I didn't have to reinvent the wheel. I could simply take the same design and scale it up.
Bit of a grind there. I had to basically rip each board that I'm going to use, but we're past that part, so now we can do the more exciting part, which is milling. I haven't done long pieces in a while. I kind of forgot how hard and intense that is, but I got that done. Tip for you at home, tip for me in the future, oil and wax the joiner. That made it so much easier. So I was using this and then I added wax and that helped so much. I'm kind of pushing to get this stuff done before the night so I can sticker all of this stuff, let it acclimate, and then I'll do a second pass. Okay, so not too hot right now. As you just saw while cleaning the planer and getting it super slick, sliced open my hand here. Got a Band-Aid on, bleeding a little, so I just threw this glove on him. So these have been acclimating for 3 days now, and now it's ready to get them down to the final dimension. So I'm gonna go through the whole process again, joint, plane, and rip, and then we'll be able to start building.
My review on the two-stage milling is that it's unclear whether it did anything. I didn't notice much of a difference compared to the previous projects I had milled in one session. If you have time, it's probably a good idea, better safe than sorry. Let me know in the comments if you've tried two-stage milling and if it's been worth it for you.
This is gonna be hard. After looking at the tabletop, I'm really reconsidering the thickness. So right now I'm weighing whether or not I have to go back to the lumber yard and get thicker wood to be the tabletop, which would be very expensive and something that I really don't wanna do, especially after spending all the time milling this wood and spending money on this wood. Another option is to redesign the table altogether, centered around the fact that the tabletop will be 1 inch thick. It's definitely thinner than what I would want, but I wanna get this table right, and I don't wanna make any compromises. And I kind of feel like this would be a compromise. I'm really unsure right now. I've decided that I think I need a new tabletop. I think that the 6/4 is what I want, so unfortunately I think I do need to get a new top. So that was a big costly mistake. Whoops. Yeah, that sucks. So just finished up the first milling of the 2 inch stock. Making mistakes is a part of the nature, albeit a several $100 mistake. We'll use that wood for another project. So yeah, I can start thinking about what I'm gonna use 1 inch white oak for. Kind of fun. Positives. Gotta think of the positives. feel like it's a rite of passage as a woodworker, furniture maker, to have a crazy clamp up job. And I think this might be the most clamps that I've done in one glue up. Okay, so I just took a look at these boards after they acclimated, and most of them are nice and flat, but there's one that's got pretty bowed. I'm just gonna run them through the joiner again and then the planer and get them to the right size.
Throughout the milling process, I've used these adjustable rollers you see on screen. These were lifesavers since I'm a one-man shop. There's no way that I would be able to mill these boards without them. I highly recommend.
All right, slight problem here. Put together the tabletop after ripping and milling. It's short the width that I was going for. It was at like 40. I'm pretty sure it was at like 40. I don't know what happened. I gotta figure this out though. Okay, that didn't take long. I noticed that I put aside a piece that was supposed to be a part of the tabletop. So the good, I don't have to go back to the lumber store and pick out a new piece. The bad, I gotta mill up this piece. So. Okay, so while I got the joiner set up, I'm going to joint a couple clean faces on the legs. I want to get some of this glue off. Okay, first things first is going to be setting all of the pieces that will make the tabletop on here and determining what the layout will be. What I'm looking for here is consistent color and consistent grain. I want it to look more cohesive and natural than be super matchy-matchy or chaotic. I'm also going to be considering the grain movement to minimize cupping. The grain that's kind of fighting against each other piece to piece, it will offset the chances of cupping. Okay, so the goal for tonight was get the tabletop in a place where I could drop it off at the lumber shop to have them sand it down with their wide belt sander. We accomplished that. I'll drop that off there tomorrow. Yeah, this project's going along nicely. So I modeled this curve on the corner of the tabletop in SketchUp, but I still like to see what it will look like in real life on the actual piece. So I've been spending a couple minutes sketching out the curves to figure out what I like. And I'm glad that I did that because I'm gonna do something a little bit different than what I sketched up. I just want kind of a subtle arch. Think of like an Apple iPhone icon you see in in your home screen. It's rounded, but it's still a square. You wouldn't call it any other shape. It's a square, but it's rounded. It's nice and soft. That's what I'm going for. And so the next steps are to model that on Shaper Hub and then to translate that into a template and get that shape transferred to the tabletop. So you see my template here. You might notice these end little flappy things that actually are movable. I didn't really intend for that to be movable. It's actually worked really nicely. But the reason why I have these things is so I can butt the end of the tabletop to the edge there. Then I can secure the template in the same spot in all four corners. And the reason why I have it on this side of the template and this side of the template is because I need to be able to flip it to all four corners. You go the extra mile to make the template. The most satisfying part is this. All right, so it's been a couple of days since I've been in the shop. Wanted to update you on kind of where we're at. Tabletop, I'm gonna kind of put aside for now, and I'm gonna start working on the base. Now, first things first for the base, we'll be cutting all of the pieces to size. Another callback to one of my other videos is I tried using blue tape for a crosscut, and that didn't work in that video. Let's see what happened in this one. Ooh. Ooh, crispy. I'm hiding. Nice and crispy. Let me know in the comments why it failed the other time. Go check out that video. This tape job, it takes a while. It's boring, it's stupid, but these are the things that you have to do in order to take your product to the next level. That's why if you see a piece that's done and executed really well, you appreciate, because you know that this person put a lot of time and effort and, you know, didn't take any shortcuts. Okay, so I just cut the dominoes for the supports, and now I have to do the apron, and this is going to be the tricky one. So normally I can just rest the domino like this. Since I'll have to have them vertical, I'll have to go like this. Something unfortunate happened. So my router table that was carrying the pieces for the base, the legs, and the aprons, tipped over. I had bent my router table when I put the lumber from the tabletop on it. So it's been like very much slanted, and it fell again. And now I have a bunch of dents. Here's one of the legs, just totally smashed. Just devastating. Like, what am I supposed to do? Just a gut punch, you know, after making good progress, seeing what the base will look like. I've been looking at this tabletop for weeks, and it's just been sitting there, like ready to be done. And I just haven't gotten time to work on the base. Finally got to work on the base, made some progress, got to see what it was gonna look like, and then this stuff happens. Like, hang with them.
After being disappointed for the rest of the night, the next day I came into the shop with a can-do attitude in order to make the best of the situation. I inspected all the damaged pieces and started to lay out the pieces where the dents would be hidden. To reduce any confusion, I identified each leg and marked which other legs were left and right of it.
And so right now what I'm doing is I'm mapping out where the legs are going and the aprons are going. I'm also getting the shaper origin all set up. I'm also trying to figure out how I'm gonna do the long apron. This apron is much longer than this bench. Just kind of mapping everything out, getting everything set up, and then we'll start cutting. I treat this like surgery. I mean, we're multiple times, we're marking where the cut is going to be. We're marking it on here, we're marking it in our head, we're marking it everywhere so we can make the right cut. And so what I'm doing is I'm literally just setting up how the table base is going to go, and I'm marking where on the piece there'll be a cut and what's going into it. So on this face, it'll be the long apron, and it's going to be cut on the outside. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting X's, and then I'm just marking long. And then on this side, this will be the short apron. So I'm marking XXX, and then short. So then when I go over to the shaper origin, I know exactly where I need to have my cut. I don't need to think twice about it. I'm doing all of the cognitive work right now. So when I am doing the cutting, I don't need to think about any placement or anything. I can just think about making the cuts. All right, so the moment of truth, I've been waiting for many days to see if this worked. A lot of stress, a lot of thinking has gone into this. Oh, baby. A nice tight fit. Oh, look at that. Well, I'm gonna chalk that up as a success. Now it's time to do the long aprons. And this is something that I knew would be challenging. So I think what I'm going to have to do is lift up the router table onto my workbench here, and I'll have to stand on top and then do them all from there. I'm starting to realize that I'm putting a lot of trust in this janky, slanted router table. I'm not sure if this is going to be a good idea. So we have the shaper origin on top there, the workstation on the side, and then I'll be standing on that shaper box. We'll have the piece more or less like this. Just wrapped up all of the joinery for the base, just dry fit everything up, and it looks great. I just glued up the base, and I'm realizing that the base is not a rectangle. I do not have 90-degree angles on the outside. It's more of a polygon, and that is an issue. I'm not happy with the way that it is right now. I'm going to cut up the long aprons and detach them, and I'm going to redo it. As much as I'd love to not show you all this and to do some YouTube magic, and you would never know. I could make this video and you could never know that I had a polygon as my table base, but YouTube is how I learned how to do furniture making, and I think it's important to share the failures. There is some truth to the phrase good furniture maker is somebody who can recover from their mistakes. I guess it's an opportunity for me to show my craft here with this failure. Yeah, I'd kind of wrestled with sharing this. I'm prideful in the stuff that I make, and I really, really like the stuff that I make, but I think it would be disingenuous to not show this super big mess up. This is the dining table that I want to have for forever, for as long as I want to have it. I couldn't imagine looking at it down the line of the tabletop and have the base go out. I mean, that's just not acceptable. Okay, so we're in the final stages of this project, and I want to make sure that there are no aspects of the table where in a couple weeks or a couple months or even a year, I'm thinking, man, I wish I would have spent just that little extra time to fix this or do this. And one of the things that I noticed about the tabletop was it had some imperfections. There were some gaps in the panels during the glue up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a couple of patches. While it's not ideal to have the patches, I'm gonna try to match the grain as best as possible. This is a table that I'm gonna have for a long time. I'm probably gonna have to do repairs here and there. I'm with this table for the long haul. Starting with it already being imperfect might be a good thing, and might just make when the kid bangs a knife or the fork, because I know that's gonna happen, I've seen it already. When that happens, hey, who cares? It'd be kind of cool to see how many patches we have over the years. Hopefully not as many as I think. Kind of like a family quilt, you know? This project is just turning into obstacle after obstacle. I need to get a sign that says X amount of days since the last mistake or the last just hurdle. We've been going nice and smooth, do things really nicely, finish it really well. I drilled the holes for the threaded inserts for the tabletop in order to attach the base to the tabletop. And I was putting in the actual inserts. And I got this new drill bit, and I waited a couple of days for this thing to come in because I wanted to do it right. I got the tool and the dang thing broke. It's currently stuck in the tabletop with the threaded insert that's halfway protruding from the tabletop. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I used a bolt and a socket wrench in order to drive the threaded inserts into the tabletop. Easy solution to a small problem. It's that time of the video to apply the finish, which means we're almost done with the build. This build definitely challenged me, despite it being a pretty simple build. I tried many new things, often because of failures or mistakes. But all in all, I'm really proud of this table, and I can't wait to use it for special events in the future, but most importantly, the everyday dinner.
Thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Let's go.